It's a lifetime ago when we began this season 23 all the way back in July at the convention in Houston, Texas. We started the journey with 25 teams, and now as the calendar shifts to November, we are down to 8, and over the next 2 days, we'll be down to the Final Four. It's quarterfinals night here in the Simulation Football League. Hello and a very warm welcome. My name is Michael Toretto. Happy to have your company alongside Ron Haynes and Justin Reside on stats. Cameron Irvine in the production truck. Eddie Gage is alongside me in the booth. Eddie, tonight we have a battle of the number 1 and number 2 offenses in the league. There will be points, there will be drama, guaranteed.
SFL Nation, what up, dude? This is why we're here. It's playoff time. Talking to both these coaches pre-game, Minnesota made some changes. They said, talking to Axel Raven, the data you saw on film for the past several weeks was all just a mimic of what is to be in store tonight. He was hoping that Baltimore took what they saw and ran with it because there's going to be plenty of changes. Let's see what we're dealing with.
Minnesota will get the ball first. This is a rematch of a Week 3 contest where Minnesota ran out 44-31 winners, and with both of these teams averaging over 360 total yards per game, I think this score might end up somewhere around that mark as Minnesota starts from their own 20. Here's Johnny Reno under center. He'll start with a slant and complete it to Jay Taylor across the middle for 8.
Talking to T-Pat pregame, he said that his mindset was to stop the run because they scored 4 rushing touchdowns on them earlier this season. Look for them to stack the box.
It's a number 3 rushing attack in the SFL, averaging over 140 yards per game, but Baltimore does stop the Isaac Knox run that time and brings up 3rd and 1.
10 men in the box, Mike.
This is run all the way, and it works out. Needed 1, got 2, did Isaac Knox.
Axel have shown plenty of confidence in his backup tailback, Colin Hart, on the sidelines on 3rd and short, and he hands it off to Isaac Knox to pick up the first down.
Knox in the regular season on 441 yards and 5 touchdowns as that pass goes awry. Looking for the tight end Jason France. Colin Hart, number 1 in the league in carries, 259. Number 1 in the league in rushing yards, 1,080 in the regular season at 8 rushing touchdowns. They've gone to the air on first down twice so far on this opening drive. These are Powell in motion to make it 2-by-2 ball right in the middle of the field, just past the 30-yard line. Hand off Hart. He goes nowhere, and it's 3rd and 10.
And on every play for Minnesota thus far, for Baltimore thus far on defense, they've been single safety high, stacking the box. They continue to put pressure on this offensive line.
That tackle was made by one of the 3 Hall of Famers on this roster, Giovanni Bolt, the strong safety. Reno on 3rd and 10. Here comes the blitz. He feels the pressure and throws it incomplete. So Baltimore gets a stop on the first drive of the game. Every stop going to be so crucial in this one, Eddie.
And that's what that pressure does. Pressure breaks pipes. Johnny Reno back in the pocket, surveying the defense, but Baltimore did not allow him time to settle his feet as they continue to put the box a lot of pressure onto it. I think it's going to be a defensive game, Mike.
Really?
Oh, yes.
All the stats say that it's going to be an offensive knock him down, slug him out battle. You think it's going to be the opposite. Why do you think so?
Because Baltimore, yes, they've been putting up points in bunches all this season, but later in the season, the turnovers have gone down. Other than the 5 that he threw against Carolina earlier this season, Jack Whitmore has been playing a pretty efficient game. So I think the turnovers will be down on his part. Minnesota listen to Axel Raven. May not bring in a blitz so much this week, so it's going to give Jack Wigmore time to find his receivers.
Jack Wigmore, the season 17 MVP, starts under center with Warren Murray, G.P. Wells, and T-Roy Gaines in the backfield with him. It is a pitch to Gaines. He loses a yard. The defense for Minnesota with Johnny on the spot on first down.
And that kind of goes back to what I was talking about, because Axel noticed that the productivity that their fullback has been getting of late too. He said he spent the past 2 weeks focusing on nothing but this game.
Gaines 225 yards in the regular season, 2 touchdowns on the ground. Rolling out his Wigmore, man in his face. Wow. Oh, what a catch! Ivory Irvin, 10 seasons in the league, and he used all of that veteran savvy to make that grab.
Watch the pressure that Jack Wigmore gets in his face, but he keeps his eyes downfield, finds his leading receiver in Ivory Irvin, and gets a big first down.
It was one-on-one with Johnny Bravo. One of the few people that's actually been in the league longer than him, 12 seasons, Johnny Bravo. And he wins the veteran-on-veteran matchup. Here's Gaines again, trying to drive to the outside, and he picks up 5. Bravo on the stop.
T-Roy Gaines, former tailback, now playing the past several seasons as a fullback, has jumped up in weight. He's now 246 pounds, and you saw him just drag a defender for 5 yards.
T-Roy Gaines, 8th all-time in rushing yards in the SFL, 12,260, and 131 rushing touchdowns. That's top 10 all-time. They go to the other back this time, and the Legends snuff it out. It'll be 3rd and 5.
Backup fullback in the game, giving T-Roy a blow. Brad Hoover doesn't have quite the strength and the wherewithal to pick up those tough yards that his playmaker T-Roy can.
Haven't seen either of the actual running backs, Warren Murray or G.P. Wells, yet on this drive. It's been all T-Roy Gaines. 3rd and 5, Wigmore. Gonna toss it out. That's Gaines again. He's short by 2 yards. Good job by Jason Clay to usher him out of bounds.
Yeah, I didn't take him to be able to bring the guy down, but he did have the wherewithal and the strength to get him out of bounds. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like Baltimore's going to punt right here.
Just across midfield, as the midfield logo says, the 4-time division champions. The punt is away from
good punt.
Matty Coffins. Oh, and it just sails into the end zone. I wonder if there's a slight breeze just behind him going left to right.
Could be, because that was an excellent punt.
So 2 punts on each of the first 2 drives, and we're still not at 0. 5:59 to go, first quarter. Thank you for joining us here. Quarterfinals night. Michael Cirillo and Eddie Gage talking you through this heavyweight clash. And they still stack in the box, Eddie.
Yes.
Nothing on doing on first down for Colin Hart.
I don't think there's many teams in the SFL besides Canton who plays more cover 0, other than maybe perhaps the Ramblers. But Baltimore here in this first quarter showing a lot of cover 1 and a lot of cover 0, putting a lot of trust in that secondary to make plays in the open field.
But it's still a run concept looking formation. They will pass it, and a great catch by Jay Taylor. Picked that one up off the turf from below his kneecaps for a first down.
And Baltimore brought the blitz once again, but look at that offensive line standing tall, giving all kind of time to find his open man.
Elijah Warfield was in coverage that time for Baltimore. 2nd first down of the night for Minnesota. Up near the 35, here comes the blitz again. They throw over the middle. Ooh. And that could have been a big play, but Jason France just couldn't haul it in. And I work for a college football team, and the last couple of weeks, we've been running that exact same concept against the blitz. Safety comes in, tight end just leaks up over the middle into the empty space that the safety should have been in. That time didn't work. Reno stands in, throws deep middle, and it's caught by Powell. Across midfield for the first time, go the Legend.
And we're seeing the offensive line for Minnesota already making adjustments. That first drive, they had their troubles, but once they got to the sideline and looked over everything and see what was going on, feel like they made some adjustments and already here doing a good job. But I think a key to this game is going to be what we just saw a moment ago. Jason France lined up against Giovanni Boat. Two all-stars going at it one-on-one.
You mentioned it, Eddie. Baltimore putting a lot of trust in their secondary and blitzing everybody. They do it again. And again, Jason France can't make the catch. He's in a ton of space in the middle of the field when everybody blitzes.
Yeah, that ball was low because of the pressure. And right now, the offensive line are doing a good job of holding up. But that clock, that internal clock of Johnny Reno was ticking just a bit too fast.
Reno just 3 of 7 to open up the contest. Split backs behind him on 2nd and 10. More pressure. Oh, wow. He escapes the rush and throws incomplete. I thought that was going to be a sack, but a terrific job by Roy Towers to tip that ball away from Deezer Powell, and it's 3rd and 10.
I watch a lot of Baltimore games, whether it's live or later, just to try to learn something from those two great coaches over there. And I don't remember the last time I saw him play this much defense. Cover 0 and cover 1.
3-man front on 3rd and 10. They'll only rush 3. Reno has time, plenty of it. Throws deep and overthrows Jason France. He is 0 for 3 on the drive when targeting France, and it's 4th down.
But why should I expect anything less? I mean, it's playoff time, right, Mike? I mean, coaches are just gonna try to throw you for a loop, throw some wrinkles in there. They don't want to get away from what got them here. But of course, going up against other great coaches, you got to be willing to try new things.
You got to empty the tank, right? Here's a short punt going to be fielded at the 20-yard line and up to the 23. That punt by Mark Royals. We are still deadlocked at 0. Proving me completely wrong in my opening statement that this is going to be an offensive game. Still got 3.5 quarters left.
Plenty of time.
Jack Wigmore has just thrown 2 passes on that opening drive. They mostly did it through the rushing of T. Roy Gaines. They will do so again to the tune of 3 yards, and we have completely differing offensive philosophies here. Baltimore, they're just going to try and chip away at you with the run game, those 3 backs. Minnesota, they're looking for chunk plays down the field.
Absolutely. I mean, these past several games, T. Roy has been a focal point of the offense as a fullback.
Wigmore to throw. Late blitz coming, and the rush gets there to bat down the pass. Max Knight with a great play. Jason Clay also was the linebacker that came on that delayed blitz.
Max Knight, my goodness. I mean, he was right up in the grill of our quarterback, Jack Wigmore. I'm surprised he even saw his receiver.
3rd and 7. Minnesota trying to win the field possession game here, forced them to punt from deep in their own zone. Oh, what a great job on the back end by Derek Meerkat. That ball was in the breadbasket of Ivory Irvin, and Meerkat punched it out.
58 zone, I believe the call is on that bunt set, and Minnesota was crowding up the middle of the field, just left it with nowhere to go with the football. Gonna have to punt again.
Second punt of the night for Matty Coffins. Not much chance he'll put this one through the back of the end zone from his own 15-yard line. That's still a booming punt, though, flipping the field to the 30 and up to the 36 of Minnesota.
Matty Coffins, and been in the league several seasons now, and I'm surprised that more teams don't invest in punters, because we've seen, even just last season, Florida pretty much sealed the game and didn't allow Canton with an opportunity to drive downfield with a perfect coffin corner punt in the waning moments of that game.
You remember the first team to ever employ a high-value kicker? Punter, rather?
The very first, I can't lie and say I do.
All right, here's Colin Hart. That's the best run of the game for the Minnesota Legend. Gain of 6 on 1st down. I don't remember the actual team either. Oh, no, I do. It just came to me. It was the Indianapolis Spitfire, the previous edition of the Indianapolis team. Season 10 was the first time a contract punter. I called that game the first time it was ever showcased. Only 1 yard on 2nd down. Levine makes the tackle. And now 3rd and 3. They've not been in this 3rd and short in this game. What do you think they draw up here? I'd like
By
to
the
see
looks
a
of
short
it,
pass.
Baltimore is stacking up the box again, so perhaps they do try to pass it.
Got those 2 receivers near side, one-on-one.
There it is.
And this time, France punishes the cover 0.
And that time they went away from Giovanni Boat, lined him up on the weak side of the field, away from the all-star Giovanni Boat. Instead tested the other side, got a more favorable matchup, and they moved the chains.
That was young Mott, 5th season in the league, 1st season with Baltimore, former Jacksonville King. Minnesota driving inside the 40. Look at all the white jerseys in the backfield, and Reno escapes out the back door and picks up 9.
We've seen Johnny Reno do this a few times this season. In fact, once was on Monday Night Football where he was about a yard and a half short of the end zone on a scramble for about 15 yards. He's got some wheels.
Reno on the season has carried the ball 31 times for 103 yards. He does have 1 fumble. 2nd down and an 1/8 of an inch, and Colin Hart says, I'll pick that up and a little bit more, moving inside the 25. And I think that kind of run where they get either off tackle or strong side outside the A gap is going to be important for Minnesota to establish their run game.
If Minnesota continues to press up inside like they're doing right now, I agree with you. Got to go outside those tackles.
They'll try and get it outside again with Isaac Knox. That time Baltimore wise to it. No gain on the play. Vaught makes the stop.
That said, it's always easier said than done, because if they can keep those outside shoulders free, talking about those defensive ends, then it makes life tough.
Only 1 pass on this drive so far for Minnesota. It was the tight end completion to Jason France for the big 1st down on 3rd and 3 earlier.
Lined up against the free safety, Giovanni Boat, one-on-one.
He'll go to him, and he makes the catch on the out route, and he breaks a tackle. Touchdown, Minnesota. Jason France with a beauty of a play. His 4th touchdown of the season.
The big man, actually, they sent him in motion to go up against Giovanni Boat one-on-one. They didn't care who he is, how long he's been in the league, how many all-star appearances he's been to. They decided to challenge him yet again, threw him on the out route, threw it to his outside shoulder. No chance for Giovanni to pick him up. Touchdown, Minnesota.
And it's so hard when you're a step behind 6'7", 270. I don't care how good you are. It's really tough to bring someone like that down when you don't have the right angle. And it's a big touchdown for Minnesota. They draw first blood with under a minute to go in the 1st quarter. Moonwalker is dedicated to enhancing your wellness journey with superior hemp-derived products. Each item is innovatively designed to provide you with a safe, enjoyable, and effective way to incorporate THC into your lifestyle. Use coupon code LEGEND at checkout. Oh, look out, big return here for the Vultures.
Derek Anderson.
And now Baltimore has to respond. It looks like Minnesota has figured out that pressure on the offensive side. Now Baltimore is probably going to have to make it an offensive game if they want to win this.
I still think it's going to be a defensive contest, but we got a lot of football left. But wow, Minnesota trying to find a way to get a victory against the 5-time defending champions.
One of those storied franchises in this league. But right now they are down in the quarterfinals.
Oh!
Picked off and down 2 scores. Goodbye, David Leathers. Touchdown, legend.
And you just wonder what Jack Wigmore thought he saw as he actually sent the receiver in motion to that side and threw it to him on the 3-step drop. He had plenty of pass protection, so not quite sure. He had plenty of time to survey the defense, but just made an ill-advised pass, and the turnover woes for Baltimore. Hopefully for them, it's not rearing its ugly head.
Interceptions in the regular season for Wigmore. One last week of the wild card round. This is someone in Jack Wigmore who's second in the SFL this season in passing touchdowns, had 19, but still had a negative interception to touchdown ratio.
Yeah, those 21 interceptions he threw, and like we said earlier, 5 of them came in one game versus Carolina toward the end of the season. So if you're a Baltimore fan, you're hoping he gets that turned around.
Well, I guess the bright spot for Baltimore here is you're right back on offense. You've got another chance to drive down the field here with 30 seconds left to go in the first quarter.
And this game, it's always amazing how the little things just can turn a game. Just right before that pick was thrown, we both thought that Derek Anderson was headed toward the end zone on a kickoff return, but he was brought down by one of the last lines of defense. And a few moments later, Jack Wigmore threw that pick 6.
From the 25, got to have a short memory here if you're Baltimore, and especially that man under center, Jack Wigmore, the former MVP, 3-time All-Star in his 9 SFL seasons. Wigmore goes right back to the pass and connects with his tight end, Benji Matson, the former San Diego Maverick.
Quick 3-step drop, not allowing a defensive lineman a chance to get to the quarterback, grip it and rip it out of there for a big first down.
I like that little tight end concept.
Over to Spike Dags.
Flipbacks on first down with the last play of the first quarter going to T-Roy Gaines. Oh, he breaks a tackle, gets down the sidelines. Big first down for Baltimore. They're going to have one more snap before the end of the first quarter.
And, you know, it's demoralizing sometimes as a defense. You get up there, meet him at the line of scrimmage, only to get trucked and put on the wrong end of a top 10 highlight. And now all of a sudden, instead of a 0-yard gain, it's a gain of about 14 yards and another Baltimore first down.
I mean, how many posters do you think T-Roy Gaines has on his wall of him doing that exact thing to defenders over his 13 seasons in this league? End of the first quarter, Minnesota strikes like lightning to take a 14-0 lead with 2 scores in 30 seconds. The touchdown, then the pick 6 on the ensuing first play from scrimmage. Baltimore driving, though, up near midfield as we start quarter number 2. Michael Torillo and Eddie Gage in the booth this evening. Ron Haynes and Justin reside on Stats Cam Irvine in the truck. This is just the first of a doubleheader tonight and 4 quarter-final games tonight and tomorrow at 10 p.m. Eastern. It's Carolina going all the way to the West Coast to battle Mexico City. Then tomorrow at 8 p.m. it's Canton against Charleston and Arizona against Florida in another massive heavyweight matchup. That's at 10 p.m. Eastern tomorrow. We got to get through the first heavyweight matchup tonight. That's a wide open receiver. Mac Chima had all kinds of separation for a first down.
Mac Chima and his teammate Ivory Irvin both have over 10,000 receiving yards for their career. How many other teams in the SFL can you think of that can meet that criteria? I can't think of any.
I would have to do some serious number crunching. That does not allow me to have that much time while I'm on the air. Maybe we'll get Cam on it. And 1st and 10, Minnesota moves their linebackers outside. Gaines middle, and he almost punished that tactical error. 5-yard gain on the play.
It's almost unfair lining T-Roy up as a fullback, knowing he's going to get so many carries and just so effective with the football. No matter what you do, he's going to pick up 3 yards regardless.
Still no carries for either Warren Murray or G.P. Wells. They've almost been used as fullbacks in there to block for the fullback. But I guess when your fullback is a SFL Hall of Famer and a 4-time All-Star, you can afford to do that. Wigmore rolling out, sets his feet, looks toward the end zone.
Touchdown!
Touchdown, Baltimore! Benji Matson started the drive with a catch. He ends the drive with a catch, and the deficit is halved right at the start of the second quarter.
And that ball was just over the outstretched hands of the Minnesota defender, Matthew Alvarado, former Scorpion. I thought that ball was going to get tipped, but wow, play action does it to you.
Baltimore not going away. That was a beautifully constructed drive, Eddie. A great mix of run and pass, a good job of attacking the defense where they're weakest, and Baltimore shows what we knew they could do all along. This is a team that can put up some serious numbers.
Anytime you can get the run game going, play action is just bound to just hit you inside the head at some point.
So now 14-7. As Minnesota, with a decent return, will take it at their own 30. The 2 touchdown drives for each team have been efficiency personified. Minnesota, at the end of the first quarter, 7 plays, 64 yards in 3 minutes and 39 seconds. And Baltimore, across the quarter break, 6 plays, 75 yards in 2 minutes and 12 seconds.
That pick 6, turnovers, and the points scored off of them are always big.
And if this game comes down to the end, we might be looking at that in about an hour from now and going, that was the difference in the game. Right now, the difference in the game is this Baltimore run defense, because they have been shutting down this 2-headed monster of Isaac Knox and Colin Hart.
And young Vaught continues to camp out in the box within 5 yards of the line of scrimmage. I mean, this young man has zero fear. He went screaming into the hole.
This time they pull the linebackers a little bit further back on 2nd 11. Uh-oh, now they show pressure. Here comes everybody. Oh, and it's dropped. That's the exact play you want to run to counter that blitz, but Jay Taylor couldn't hang on to the ball.
Yeah, that's one you got to hang on to. I mean, Johnny Reno let that ball go a split second before he wanted to because he had to, but you didn't see that's a pass he's got to catch.
Now 3rd and 11. Baltimore looking to get off the field quickly, down by 7. 7:49 to go. Second quarter. 4-man rush. Reno middle. Tipped. Hanging in the air. Incomplete. But Baltimore forces the 3-and-out. Giovanni Bolt almost picked that off just after that initial deflection. Couldn't find it as it was hanging in the air.
Yeah, Johnny Reno might have thought he had more time than he did, because the last time we seen Baltimore line up in that 3-2 shell, they dropped back into coverage. This time they brought him in on a blitz and kept Giovanni in the box. Forced him to throw that ball early.
Bolt's a little bit of a down year in terms of interceptions for him, just 1. But top 5 in the league in passes defended, as Baltimore will have a chance to tie the game here.
That sounds like Arizona. 2nd in the league in passes defense. We just cannot catch the ball to save our lives.
So now Minnesota back on defense. Defense a bit tired. They only got to watch their offense for 3 plays. Pendulum of momentum looking like it's swinging slightly back in Baltimore's favor here, even though they're down a score.
Just a bit, but we'll see how Minnesota's defense responds.
Minnesota defense that picked off opposing teams 25 times during the regular season. That's 4th in the league through a ton of traffic. Jackson Roberts makes the catch.
Minnesota brought I think that was a TE stunt, and man, they were all up in
Look at this formation.
Real.
Look at this formation. It's a quarterback sneak. Wigmore got it.
Barely.
Wow.
Talking to Axel Raven.
Did you see when they put T-Roy Gates in that formation?
I did.
It was all the way on the edge.
Talking to Axel, he was talking about this play pre-game and his plans to slow it down. We'll see how it shakes out as the game goes along.
Wigmore sidearms it incomplete. I want to see Baltimore, if they're ever at the 1-yard line, I want to see them pull that out.
Oh, they do. They did the past few weeks.
Wigmore has 3 rushing touchdowns all the season. Offset eye. Wigmore, plenty of time, but an inaccurate pass, and now it's 3rd and 10 as Minnesota's defense looks to get off the field.
They were very physical with the receivers, too. The rest are letting them play. this formation.
Yeah, 3-by-1 left to right here. Watch that one-on-one matchup to the top side of the screen. Only a 3-man rush. Uh-oh, Wigmore. Oh, not going to get there. I don't hate the play call, right? Everybody goes deep, and the quarterback just takes off up the middle, but they were 4 yards short. Maybe that's a third and like 4 or 5 play, not a 3rd and 10 play.
Yeah, Minnesota was playing an umbrella shell there, taking away everything deep, forcing them to scramble for that, try to get that first down.
Coffins, a good punt inside the 15, spotted at the 16 after the good coverage by Baltimore. So through nearly the first half of action here, Eddie, it looks like you're right. We're going to get a little bit more of a defensive game. Again, it's the playoffs. Both teams playing a little bit conservatively. Do you remember the first game between these two teams only back in week 3?
Yeah.
44-31, no shortage of points on that day.
None at all, but it was early.
Here comes the blitz again, forces an overthrow from Reno, 2nd and 10.
You see Giovanni Boat right there? He got physical at the top of the route and said, "You will not put me on another highlight, hopefully for the rest of this game." That was great coverage by Giovanni.
Yeah, I think that Minnesota needs to put Jason France on somebody else. As Reno has had a rough go of it, just 5 of 14. And he has to throw this one off his back foot. France bails him out for an 8-yard pickup.
And great job by this Minnesota offensive line. I mean, they have 5 contract offensive linemen. And right now, on this drive, as well as previous drives, they've proven why Axel went out there and invested in them.
Ricky Burr, Axel Raven, Dusty Wilson, Griffin King, and Ruthie Raven have their hands full tonight. I think Johnny Reno may have a bit of the jitters back there, because that time he didn't have to throw that as quickly as he did, but he misfired it and it's 4th down.
He didn't have to. And in fact, if he holds that ball on to maybe another split millisecond, that could have been a touchdown. What's a split millisecond?
I don't know. You said it. You tell me. So teams trading punts here in the second quarter. The only drive in the second quarter that's not been a 3-and-out was the Baltimore touchdown drive that started the quarter. And that stat in the top left-hand corner tells you pretty much all you need to know about this game so far. Both defenses have come to play. The difference of the game is the defense. That pick 6 for Minnesota.
Difference in the game, and now with 5:39 left in this first half, does Baltimore get aggressive here on offense and try to score, or they try to conserve clock? Let's see.
I would. I'd try to every possession, if you're Baltimore, needs to be a scoring possession, I think. At least that's what you try to do. They will pitch the ball to the weak side on first down. T. Roy Gaines puts one defender in the dirt and picks up 8 yards.
I'm not even going to say the player's name, but you're going to see it here on the replay anyway. But my goodness, that is just embarrassing.
Matthew Alvarado.
See, I wasn't going to say his name.
No, that was not who.
That's the guy who made the tackle, correct.
Yeah, he made the tackle, but he had to sprint halfway across the field because T. Roy Gaines, if he turns upfield at the sideline, he might have been gone. Still an 8-yard pickup for T. Roy. This is the first running back carry of the game for Baltimore, and it's Warren Murray slipping through for the first down, the former long-time Houston headhunter / hyena.
Yes, I mean, wow. I mean, I think Baltimore was just as surprised, Minnesota was just as surprised as we were to see him carry the ball there.
The regular season, Murray, 592 yards and 9 rushing touchdowns, top 5 in the league. This time underneath, pass complete. Daly Holder looking for some yak yards, gets 7. Baltimore threatening here with under 5 to play in the half.
They are. And did you see the guard, Jay Arnold? I almost want to say he was illegally downfield because he was in front of the receiver.
Baltimore inside the 30. That's Jackson Roberts, the tight end, going all the way out to the numbers. It's another QB sneak.
Oh, he's hurt.
And oh no! Jack Wigmore took a big shot and he's down.
He is down, and the collective breaths for Baltimore and their fan base right now, taking a collective breath, hoping that he is okay.
That's the risk you run.
Yes.
With a running quarterback. Takes a big shot in the middle. He picks up the first down, but at what cost?
Didn't he get hurt last week too? I can't recall.
Jonathan Quinn, the backup. Yes, he did get hurt last week. In a big spot, T-Roy Gaines now probably going to have to lead this team as he picks up 3. But talk about a role you never thought you'd have on the road in the cold in Minnesota.
Yeah.
In a playoff game behind one of the best quarterbacks to ever do it, and now you're in the game.
Wow.
And he's going to throw. He's going to throw it deep.
Touchdown!
Touchdown!
Wow.
Quinn to Irvin. Baltimore ties it.
And when was the last time you heard anyone say a Quinn to Irvin combination for a touchdown? But Jack Wigmore on the bench getting checked out in the medical tent. Everyone in Baltimore is crying and upset, saying that there goes our season. But Quinn says, hold on, hold my beer, coach. I got this one. And they are an extra point away from tying this ball game.
That's unbelievable. And you know how we gave the offensive line for Minnesota some shout-outs last drive? We got to give Sir Charles, Ray Arnold, Olivia and Alden Bleeker, Jay Arnold, and Dawn Dawson all the credit in the world. Because the backup had all the time in the world to throw. And he found one of the best receivers in the league, the 7-time All-Star Ivory Irvin, for the touchdown.
That was a big play.
Irvin last week.
Uh-oh.
Oh, look out. Here we go. To the 40. Near side. Turns the corner past the punter. E.J. Minson. Goodbye. Touchdown, Minnesota. It's punch, counter punch. This is a heavyweight championship fight here in Minnesota tonight. And the Legend have 2 non-offensive touchdowns.
That was a terrible angle that Roy Towers took right there, trying to bring down EJ. I'm not sure what he was thinking, but he should know better than that. And as a result, what would have been a return to about the 50-yard line goes to the house. And in one play, Minnesota reclaims the lead.
How about that for your first return touchdown of the season, E.J. Minson?
He had one earlier this season, but it was called back on a penalty.
He was. That time, no flags. And it's 21-14. Well, you feel hard done if you're the Baltimore offense, right?
Yes.
Every time you put together a good drive, something crazy happens. And Minnesota finds a way to continue being in the lead. Oh, my goodness, I almost thought that Baltimore was going to go back for one.
Jalen Wills on the punt on the kickoff return.
E.J. Minson has split time returning kicks with Queg Mam this season. They have about 5 more returns for Minson than Mam. They both average exactly 29 yards per return. Well, here we go. Baltimore down by 7 again, 3:31 to go. Second quarter, and the backup quarterback still in. And T-Roy Gaines gets 2. If Minnesota wasn't stacking the box before, they're probably going to have to now.
And they'd be smart to put the pressure on the young man and see how he responds to it.
Eight in the box for Minnesota. Quinn gonna throw, he's got time. Out route, incomplete. Good job by David Leathers to break that one up.
That pass was a little high, but that's a catch you have to make to help out your young quarterback. 3rd and long.
Now you're gonna have to throw. if you're Jonathan Quinn.
Minnesota playing conservative.
Just 3 down linemen. They'll only rush 3. Play action rollout for Quinn. That's the same play they scored the touchdown on, and Ivory Irvin has another catch.
And I can tell you right now, Mike, do not be surprised to see a flag. It's going to be a completed catch, but he actually, I think, got his left foot out of bounds about 4 yards prior to being tackled.
That's 1-2.
Right there.
That's not it's a completed catch. I'm not sure I'd waste a challenge on that if I'm Minnesota.
Decided not to. Oh, there it is.
They are going to challenge. Wow.
Yep.
That's very good. Because what are you gaining here? 4 yards?
About 4 yards. That could be the difference between a punt and a field goal attempt, so you never know. But, I mean, it's a big playoff game. Loser goes home, so can't say I really knock them for trying it.
Yeah. Here's a retroactive look at the play. Get your console and play the SFL on the go at GoRetroid.com. It's a completed catch. He had 3 feet down, but yeah, he'll be back about 5-6 yards.
Still going to be a first down.
But how about the veteran Ivory Irvin going to the young backup quarterback and said, just look for me downfield, I'll bail you out. He did it on the touchdown, and he did it on 3rd and long.
Remember when Randy Moss looked at Dante Culpepper after he got frustrated, he didn't throw in the ball? And Randy Moss doesn't curse. He just looked at him and said, just throw me the darn ball, man. Golly. That's
Ivory Irvin right now, yep. Split backs on 1st and 10 just across the 50-yard line. Here comes the blitz. Quinn reads it and throws incomplete. Just a little bit too tall for Daly Holder. Offensive line held up, though.
That's the 2nd drop on his drive.
On the exact same play, too. And then, you know, the Baltimore fans are going, oh, Wingmore would complete those passes.
Can't blame that on Jack.
No. Middle, Irvin for 7. Tackle by Bravo.
Minnesota loves these 90 plays. They have as many of them in their playbook as any team in the league.
205 yards for Baltimore right now. They average 369 per game. That's tops in the SFL. Right now, they're on pace to beat that.
Great
Another
block.
Rollout. Flag flies
down.
as incomplete is the pass. It looks like it might be a hold.
No, it's an ineligible man downfield. They threw that ball. They threw the flag right as he threw it. It was close.
Yep.
But it's probably a makeup for early in the game when he was clearly past the line of game.
I'm in a situation here where I might have considered going for that just before the 2-minute warning if you're Baltimore in plus territory. But they are going to punt it away, try and pin Minnesota deep. Coffins is going to let this one drop. Oh, what a bounce.
Great bounce.
That's a beautiful punt. Down inside the 10, 2 minutes warning. Here in the first half, it's been a very entertaining first half. Minnesota leads it 21-14. 2 of their 3 touchdowns are non-offensive. A pick 6 and a kickoff return for a touchdown. They still stopped Colin Hart for no gain, even though he was almost leveled in the backfield.
Got to be careful here, deep in your own end.
Another run. This time it's the other back. Isaac Knox gets nowhere. 3rd and 10. Well, Baltimore not at home tonight, but they will be at home next summer as the SFL convention heads to Baltimore in 2025, kicking off the league's 25th anniversary season, July 10th to 14th. Join SFL Nation at the rooftop pool of our host hotel, the Hyatt Regency, looking out into Baltimore's inner harbor. Here's 3rd down and 10. Lots of time for Reno, and he just has looked a little bit out of sync with his receivers tonight.
Yeah, Baltimore doing a great job of mixing up the coverage. They get aggressive on one play and go conservative and give you an umbrella shell on the next one. Now, with all 3 timeouts, they're going to get this ball in pretty good field position.
You can reserve your room for the SFL convention now at the special group rate at simfl.net. I'll be there. Eddie, I'm sure you're planning on being there.
Sure, of course. Uh-oh.
Oh, Ivory Irvin, man. He has put his fingerprints all over this second quarter. And he was one more broken tackle away from potentially breaking the... How many almost return touchdowns have we had in this first half? We've had one real one and about 4 that were maybe 1 tackle away.
Every time I see Ivory Irvin returning a punt, I think of that moment where Ramos Lynn in a championship game called a punt return that sealed a championship for Baltimore. One of the best calls I've heard.
Irvin all the year does have a punt return touchdown. Second in the league in punt return yards overall, 295 in the regular season. Quinn, gotta be careful. He was looking for Irvin, a little underthrown and tipped away.
That could have easily been intercepted. He had both hands on it and somehow dropped it.
"52 seconds to go in the second quarter. If you're Baltimore, you want to at least get into field goal range here so you can get something out of this drive. It'll be Quinn. It'll be middle. It'll be Irvin.
Timeout.
How about that timeout called by Baltimore?
First timeout burn. They have 2 remaining. 48 seconds left in this first half. So obviously they're going to be passing the ball here, trying to get into the end zone.
And that'll be field goal range for Shark Tarkington.
Going empty. Mac Chima in motion.
And Daley Holder will be the slot receiver on the near side.
Oh, got him. Oh, he dropped it.
Oh, he dropped it. Mac Chima had the ball in his hands, couldn't survive contact.
Bang, bang play. Got to give it to Minnesota's defense.
And I'll tell you what, Jonathan Quinn has not made any really egregiously bad throws. Maybe that one that was almost picked off by Adrian Blaine. They're going to go empty again on 2nd and 10. This time Mac Chima in motion. Quinn goes middle, deflected, incomplete. It was off the back of the intended receiver, just never turned around.
Yeah, that should have been a touchdown. Got to help out the young quarterback.
Baltimore's run the exact same play 2 plays in a row and 2 drop passes. Now 3rd and 10. They're in field goal range. You don't want to do anything too crazy here. Will throw for it. Quinn goes to the corner route and overthrows Irvin. And so on will come Shark Tarkington to creep Baltimore closer right before the end of the half.
Yeah, no one was open, and forced to try to throw that ball to his outside shoulder away from harm, but unable to bring it in.
The left leg of Tarkington from 45, staring right into the legend eyes behind the goalpost. And he missed it! His first miss of the year!
Wow, couldn't have come at a worse time.
Wide to the left.
That's a big miss, Mike.
Wow.
And now Minnesota has pretty darn good field position. Let's see if they get aggressive here and try to put up some more points to close out this first half.
3 timeouts, 33 seconds to get into field goal range. Reno takes the check down to Colin Hart. He makes chicken salad. Oh my goodness, across midfield.
There's that timeout.
Wow, Baltimore had Colin Hart dead to rights.
That's about the 2nd or 3rd play we've seen a Minnesota receiver on the sidelines, and Baltimore just doing a bad job of tackling him.
So now Minnesota definitely in range where they can try to go for it. Here comes the rush. He goes deep.
Oh!
That may be one of the interceptions of the season. Elijah Warfield, take a bow.
And I don't know if you saw it, Mike, but they ran a stunt on the inside and got in his face with immediate pressure. Did not get the arm strength on that pass that he needed to complete it. And Baltimore is right back in business.
Your nice hands catch of the game presented by Retroid. Put a Retroid handheld in your hands and play the only video game with your player in it, SFL 4K23. He snatched that one like a shortstop, making a play over the middle. Baltimore will go conservative with 16 seconds left and just take this one to the house.
Yeah,
man, oh man. This has been some first half, Eddie. Good luck analyzing this.
It's playoff time.
It certainly feels like it. Packed stadium here in Minnesota. These teams have gone back and forth. The offense for Minnesota floundering a little bit, but the defense and special teams has picked them up with 2 massive touchdowns, and they lead Baltimore 21-14 at the half.
Halftime, and believe it or not, although Minnesota has scored 21 points, Baltimore does have something to hang their hats on. They've only given up 1 offensive touchdown. They gave it the pick 6 and the kickoff return. So you take that away, and Minnesota's offense is held pretty much in check. So Baltimore just needs to try to get a grip and get a hold of the situation, get in the locker room, make them those halftime adjustments and see what happens. But Minnesota, I mean, you got to give them credit also. They took advantage of those opportunities. You see Irie Irvin there, their player of the half with those 5 catches for 87 yards. Both teams are doing terrible on 3rd down. Baltimore, 1 of 6. Minnesota, 2 of 7. Who can find a way to keep their offense on the field is probably going to come out the victors of this game.
Let's take a halftime break presented by Brakes GPT.
We just pulled a full-size Taylor Swift helmet. Shout out to all our Swifties. Travis Kelce. This is a Giants Lawrence Taylor.
Patrick Mahomes.
Chad Johnson with the Ocho Cinco.
We have a Drew Brees.
Is that an O.J. Simpson jersey?
It's an Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my goodness.
Tom Brady! Tom Brady!
So Jack Wigmore out.
Wow.
Back spasms is the official injury report. Break into the world of sports memorabilia collecting with Brakes GPT, featuring signed football jerseys, helmets, photos, and more. Brakes GPT offers you the shot at winning autographed and authenticated sports memorabilia at a fraction of the price. Join the community of collectors on our Brakes GPT Facebook page and lock in your shot at hitting a humongous headliner at brakesgpt.com. All right, Eddie, I'm going to do what I do to all of my analysts at the start of the second half. I want you inside the headsets of both of these coaches. What do they need to do to come out with the win and advance to the semifinals here in the second half?
For Baltimore on defense, keep doing what you're doing. You've held Minnesota to 7 points on offense. You take away the kickoff return and the interception. For Minnesota, they got to find a way to get their running game going, because that's what I think is missing for them. They're trying to do it all on the shoulders of their tight ends, but I think they got to get more of a variety on offense.
They're just trying every which way they can to get T-Roy Gaines in the game. That time, a check down goes for 9.
Yeah, he's been a workhorse for Baltimore today, and they got to probably need him a bit more in the second half with Jack Wigmore being out for the rest of this game.
Yep. Jonathan Quinn came into the game after Wigmore got hurt on a quarterback draw. And look at the quarterback draw. Careful. We might be down to the 3rd string quarterback if Quinn gets hurt. But he does pick up the first down.
I kind of saw that coming, and Baltimore may want to be careful, because you don't want to go to your 3rd string quarterback in a playoff game.
Approaching midfield, Quinn gonna throw. He's gonna check it down again. Here's Warren Murray. He's got speed, he's got spins, but he's only got 5 yards as the defense collapses. Stephen Black with the stop for the legend.
Minnesota's also doing a great job of keeping them guessing. They've been aggressive at times, and they've also been passive, continue to show these umbrella shells on defense no matter what personnel grouping is out there.
Really heavy set. Great blocking for the rollout and a one-handed catch by Jackson Roberts for the first down.
Great play. Now that's how you bail out your quarterback. That ball was on his outside shoulder, probably a bit too outside, but he was able to reach out and grab it to extend this drive.
That's a great play design too, right? Second and short, just roll the tight end to the same side as the quarterback, pitch a catch over the middle.
Yeah, I tried stealing that play from Baltimore, a similar concept, and it was picked off. Took it out immediately.
Baltimore over 250 total yards on the game, averaging over 5 yards a play, and they're still down by 7. T-Roy Gaines, another stiff arm and a 6-yard pickup. T-Roy, 50 yards on 11 carries so far this evening.
The only thing I don't like about that play is you're a fullback, young man. Make them pay for bringing you down. Don't just give it to them by running out of bounds.
Double tight ends on the right, they'll roll to the weak side. Quinn tipped it incomplete. They tried that same tight end cross, or wide receiver cross, excuse me, this time to the weak side. Minnesota sniffs it out.
Ill-advised pass. No one was open downfield. He'd have been better off taking off and trying to pick up the first down.
Legends on their own side of the field.
Showing pressure on that weak side.
Remember, Shark Tarkington's already missed a 45-yard field goal in the contest.
Look out.
There's the blitz. It finally gets home for the first sack of the game for the Legend.
And that's a play in which they've got an audible out of that because you see them lining up right on the line of scrimmage. There's no way the left tackle's going to get over there and give you the block that you need to buy you some time. That's got to be a grip it and rip it type of situation. Either that or scramble to the outside and use your legs to try to pick up that first down.
Not sure they were quite in field goal range, even if they didn't lose the 7 yards, but now it's definitely a Matty Coffin's punting situation. Come on to the chat, you're correct. GP does not have a carry tonight. Warren Murray only has 1.
Yeah.
With 1 reception. T-Roy Gaines, 11 carries, 50 yards.
Earning his check tonight, that's for sure.
And now Minnesota a chance to go up by 2 scores.
Shotgun.
Haven't had an offensive score since the first quarter. It's a draw on first down. Colin Hart, 8-yard pickup.
Yeah, that time Baltimore sitting back expecting pass, and ball went right up the gut.
Colin Hart averaging just 2.5 yards per carry tonight. They'll go to Knox. He gets the first down, a little bit more, a pass of 30. The rushing game has not really been where Minnesota wants it to be, especially since they've had one of the better rushing games in the league during the regular season.
Baltimore not used to playing from behind, that's for sure.
Minnesota 3rd in the league in rushing yards per game at 140. If you missed our cold open, these two teams are 1 and 2 in total yards per game in the league. Baltimore 1, Minnesota 2. 3rd straight rush, doesn't get anywhere.
T-Pat on the sidelines calling in the plays.
John Patrick Devine on that last stop. Brings up 2nd and 8. Reno yet to throw the ball on this possession. He will now. He'll roll away from pressure and find France over the middle for a first down.
And that was a great throw. Outside shoulder away from the defender who was trailing behind him. You couldn't place the ball any better than that.
Jason France has been the favorite receiver for Johnny Reno. 4 catches, 60 yards on 8 targets, and the 1 touchdown. Nobody else has more than 2 receptions. That's Jay Taylor. I formation on 1st and 10. Reno, middle, Powell! Great catch and run up near the 30.
And it's almost as if the middle linebacker recognized the play, because the moment the H and height came out of his mouth, he went flying back there to try to bat the ball away. You don't see him on the replay because of the angle, but he just missed batting that ball down.
Deezer Powell's second catch of the night on 5 targets. And Minnesota's in business here. Quagman doesn't have a target. He goes to the slot on the near side.
Look out.
And Reno gets clobbered.
Knocked out of field goal range in the process.
Al Walker, that's a brutal hit. Blind side, Reno never saw it coming. The fullback was busy with the offensive tackle. Or sorry, yeah, defensive tackle. And the end just slips through for a 6-yard loss. Now 2nd and 16, way behind the sticks. Reno, plenty of time. Now he's flushed to the 30, to the original line of scrimmage and a few yards more. And after what happened to Jack Wigmore, I'd like to see a quarterback slide there.
Yeah. He took 2 unnecessary hits on 1 play.
Now a much more manageable 3rd and 7. Reno again with time. He launches it deep.
Wow.
And it's caught. Double coverage. Deezer Powell inside the 10.
And when you watch this replay, I thought young Vaught had a chance to pick that ball off and have Baltimore come out of this unscathed. Look at this replay, but he just was not aggressive enough. He was sitting there watching the ball come in. Could have made a play, but decided against it, and that's going to cost him.
A chance to go up by 2 scores for Minnesota for the first time since it was 14-0 in the first quarter after the pick 6 by David Leathers. 1st and goal from the 3. Hart, touchdown. Nobody got him as he run around the outside. And Minnesota's got a foot in the semifinals.
They sure do. 2-score lead. The fans are going crazy. Beers being splashed all over the field. Coaches are complaining. They're looking for their raincoats because of all the beer that's being splattered on them, but they don't care right now. Their team has a 2-score lead, and time is ticking away here in the 3rd.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh, yeah. You ever been to the Phoenix Open? Seen it on TV?
I can't say that I have.
Yeah, they were. I forget the player's name, but made a hole-in-one, and the fans who were attending the game started throwing beer onto the golf course, dousing the players. It was crazy.
That's the second strangest thing I've had an analyst say this weekend. It doesn't quite beat. I think that after this, the fans are going to tear the goalpost down and take them to Bethune Grill after the game for a team that's 2-7.
108 people currently watching this ball game right now. Don't tell me it's not playoff time.
Oh boy, it is playoff time and then some. Now don't count Baltimore out of this yet.
No, not at all.
Jonathan Quinn is 7 of 14 for 50 yards and a touchdown. Sorry, for 92 yards, 50% completion, and a touchdown. So even with a backup quarterback, Baltimore still has some agency in this game.
Oh, picked off.
Oh, my goodness. One play intercepted. Adrian Blaine was sitting on that route the whole time.
When it rains, it pours. And we just talked about it earlier, how Baltimore has as many 90 plays in the league as pretty much most teams. But that time, you could tell Axel been doing his homework because he's had a few of them that he almost picked off. And this time, his defense holds on to it.
Minnesota, who had 25 interceptions in the regular season, 4th in the SFL, has 2 tonight, a pick 6 by Leathers, an interception by Blaine, both of them on the first play of the respective Baltimore drives, and Deezer Powell already has the legend in the red zone.
And the fans are getting just a little bit more rowdy. They can kind of sense this ball game. turning its ugly head for Baltimore, and wow, you can almost sense that it's about Colin Hart time.
And Minnesota fans are about to become Carolina fans after this game for the late night game. As Reno throws, end zone caught, touchdown, legend. It's 34-14 in the blink of an eye. It's exactly what happened in the first half.
Yeah, I mean, this game started off defensive-minded, but here in this third quarter, with Jack Whitmore out for the rest of the game, Minnesota has just capitalized on it, and wow, I mean, you talk about just playing with a sense of urgency here in this third quarter. Minnesota is looking to run away with this.
All hail the Queen, the Queen, her first catch of the night, 4th touchdown of the season, and it is 34, now 35 to 14, and we've gone from a competitive game down the stretch to a near blowout.
Yeah. It's funny how SFL games tend to be like that.
But as I was saying before that touchdown, Minnesota fans become Carolina fans after this, because if Carolina upsets Mexico City, then Minnesota would host them in the semifinals. If Mexico City wins, the winner of this game will go down to Estadio Matt Wilson.
Oh, took a shot right to his helmet.
Big hit at the end of that play. And unfortunately for Jonathan Quinn and this Baltimore offense, they're going to have to keep throwing the ball, now down 35-14.
Oh. Lucky to not have a concussion. That was a brutal tackle.
A lot of the air has just been taken out of this building.
Yes.
35-14 Minnesota, 2:56 to go third quarter. T-Roy Gaines will get 3. The 23rd edition of the SFL playoffs continue tomorrow night with a quarterfinal doubleheader at 8:15 and 10 p.m. Eastern, as the #1 seed Canton Classics battles the Cinderella Charleston Predators. The 2-time defending champion Florida Storm welcome in the Arizona Scorpions. Catch all the action here on SFL YouTube all season long. Warren Murray, that's a great run. First down, carrying defenders for about 6 of those 8 yards.
Fresh legs. Warren Murray underutilized today, and he's showing you, coach, give me the ball some more.
But it's even the third quarter. You got to start being aggressive and stop running the ball. They go to T-Roy Gaines. He puts one man in the dirt, turns upfield. Oh, didn't quite get the first down. Looks like he was trying to avoid contact a little bit right there at the end, as Mark Mello was chasing him down. I'm not sure I've ever said T-Roy Gaines and avoid contact in the same sentence.
Yeah. I think that stiff arm has something to do with it. Watch for the QB sneak right here.
2nd and inches. They've run it twice. They've picked up 2 first downs. They've run it 3 times. They've picked up 3 first downs, but it also has cost Jack Whitmore his health, because he's been out for the game since late in the second quarter.
Yeah, Jonathan Quinn has been sliding when he gets picked up the first down. Jack Whitmore tried to run for more yards and got popped.
1st and 10. Handoff Gaines. He's going to roll over that middle linebacker for 9 yards. That first point of contact was maybe 5 yards down the field. Jason Clay, 6'2", 225, not easily moved. A minute to go in the third. They try the QB sneak again. Oh, boy. Quinn got popped, but he's going to get right back up.
Did you see him holding the ball like it was a loaf of bread? He's lucky that ball didn't get stripped out of his hands.
Jack Whitmore on the season does have a fumble. And I've seen it many times this year. The quarterbacks keep it, get popped, lose the ball. They'll swing it to Gaines, and he gets nada. Second down and 9. I have, I see a request in the chat for you to sing, Eddie, and I'm going to say, please don't. Not maybe at the convention, Fowler, if you get to the convention next year. Quinn
Green
swings it out. Murray gets a block inside the 20. And this has been a very methodical drive for Baltimore, as they've gone now 80 yards on this one and are inside the 20. Correction, 60 yards, as my brain completely shorts out and can't do math.
Look at the block by Irvin. Don't tell that man. He's the team's leading receiver, but he is still out here showcasing that he is more than just receiving type
I'll tell you
play.
what, end of the third quarter, that third quarter was all Minnesota, as they lead it 35-14. But there's one person right in this game that even in the cold winter in Minnesota does not want to go sit on a beach somewhere after the night. That's Ivory Irvin. He has been doing all he can to keep Baltimore in this game. First and 10 inside the red zone. Gaines, good blocking in front of him, gets to the edge, and a nice tackle by Derek Meerkat to prevent the first down. Still an 8-yard carry. Gaines has been ballistic in this game. 80 yards, 16 carries, 5 yards per carry.
Wow.
Another QB sneak. This time he's short.
Yep.
Now 3rd and 1. Prime Gaines territory here. Double tight end set left. Just 1 of 7 on 3rd down today. Oh, it's a rollout.
Great block.
All the space in the world. Touchdown, Baltimore. What a brilliant play call.
Brilliant play call. There was no one open downfield. Don Johnson, his team, I didn't get the number of the other linemen, provide great blocks there on the outside. Number 67.
Jay Arnold,
Johnson. Yeah. Great job.
Second rushing touchdown for a Baltimore quarterback this season. Wigmore, actually 4th. Wigmore had 3 in the regular season, and now Jonathan Quinn has 1. And it's 35-21, 2-score game in the 4th quarter. If Baltimore's defense bears down and gets some stops, we could still be in for a barn burner of a finish.
You take away the pick 6 and the kickoff return, this is a tie ball game, but there's no ifs in the SFL.
The 23rd edition of the SFL playoffs continues Sunday with a pair of semifinal matchups at 6:30 and 9 p.m. Eastern, with the 4 best teams the SFL has to offer this season. Catch all the action here on SFL YouTube all postseason long. Cap with the 23rd SFL Championship Sunday, November 17th. And all 8 teams still believe, even Baltimore down 2 scores in the 4th quarter. Baltimore wants that 6th title, Eddie.
Yes, they do, but they got a mountain to climb if they're going to get it this season.
I formation, handoff, hard, run down from behind by Alvin Mack. And if you're Baltimore, that's fine. Just no, if you want to keep him from first downs.
Absolutely, but Alvin Mack is one of my favorite linebackers. I'm not sure why, but he always seemed to make highlight plays. Look at this defense.
Mack, 70 tackles in the regular season, 3rd and 10, loss at 2. Baltimore hasn't dialed up the pressure like they have in the first half and the second half. That time they bring it back.
They do, because they know Minnesota's just trying to drain this clock out, and they're trying to do everything they can to get their offense back on the field.
Empty set. This would be a backbreaker. It's a 4-man rush. Reno goes to where the rush came from, and a great truck stick in the secondary. Elijah Warfield forces a 3 and out.
Forces a 3 and out, and that is not what Minnesota wanted. They just got their offense back on the field, and now a defense that has came off a long drive has to get ready to get right back out there.
Ark Royals, the punter. Anderson back deep to return at his own 35. Correction, that's Irvin. He gets to the 38. Kickoff returns have been interesting tonight. We had the one long return, a couple of almost returns. Punting, not so much.
Not so much.
Every drive from here to the end of the game has to be a scoring drive for Baltimore. Down 2 scores, 7:59 to go. A backup quarterback leading the way in Jonathan Quinn. He'll hand to Gaines, and he gets nada. Angela Meerkat with the tackle.
They have lost half a yard on that carry.
I think Baltimore has been at their best using Gaines when they get him outside the tackles.
Especially going against smaller defenders. I agree.
Quinn to throw. He'll go strong side. Irvin has it. Steps out of bounds. 9-yard gain.
You almost wish if you're a Baltimore fan they lined up and threw that play to the wide side of the field, because if they do, Irvin is able to turn around, pick up that first down, and even some more yards behind.
Yeah, and there was nobody over there in that formation as well. I thought they might try like a counter run, but no, they go to the air. 3rd down and 1. They've been really aggressive with this QB sneak on 3rd and short.
Here he comes again.
Quinn,
fumble
the football, and it's Minnesota ball. Disaster for Baltimore.
Axel talked about it pregame when I spoke with him earlier. He put a lot of focus this week, the last 2 weeks, practicing for this very moment. He said he wanted to take that play away and spent a good chunk of his time preparing for that play alone.
Wow. Minnesota has been gifted the ball almost in field goal range with 7 minutes to go. And Baltimore's defense is now right back on the field. And Colin Hart is making him pay for it down inside the 30, 12 yards and a first down.
Mark Mello forced the fumble. Their GM/outside linebacker Stephen Black recovered it. And you can just see right now this defense is about ready to just give up, knowing that they already battling in field goal range as it is, down 2 scores.
That QB draw is like a bull. And sometimes you can ride the bull, and sometimes you get tossed by the bull. Strong side run, Knox. Nice cutback for 8.
Backup running back coming in, picking up 8 yards. That can be demoralizing. Knox,
only 14 yards on 7 carries tonight. Not a banner day for him. But he's done what he's needed to do. Here comes the pressure up the middle. Hart trying to bulldoze his way behind the offensive line, and he's not quite going to get there. Brookie Burr got great push up front.
Did. Young Va came and cleaned up the mess.
3rd and inches. Need this one if you're Baltimore. Now give it
Mack.
to Hart got it. Mack looked like he had it in the backfield, but Hart just got skinny enough.
Unable to square his shoulders up with the line of scrimmage and get his weight behind it. And as a result, Colin picks up that first down.
Everybody for Baltimore in the middle of the field, expecting the run, getting the run. Knox slips through the line and gets hammered by the secondary. Young Vaught with the tackle, gain of 4.
We call Young Vaught's name a lot today.
Vaught, 7 tackles, 1 tackle for loss. Hart tries to bounce outside, nowhere to go. Eventually cleaned up by Bolts at 3rd and 7.
Bolt came all the way over from the weak side of the field to make that tackle. That was impressive hustle.
Minnesota has 35 points with under 300 yards of total offense. Only 78 rushing yards.
No hurry to snap the ball.
Just letting that clock run all the way down. They don't even want the touchdown. I mean, I'm sure they'd like it, but they don't need it right now. Just let all that time drain away, kick another field goal.
Turnovers, Mike. You look at the total yards. Baltimore with about a 72-yard advantage in total offense, but down 2 scores because of those turnovers and that kickoff return.
2 interceptions, a kickoff return, a fumble. Minnesota has found ways to get it done tonight that do not necessarily involve the offense on a night where Baltimore's defense has probably played one of their better games and still given up 38 points.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, the turnovers, the missed field goal, let's not forget about that. There's a lot of opportunities that Baltimore, unfortunately, fell victim to.
The SFL M Season 9 continues next Friday, November 8th, with new Commissioner Alexander West to the studio, headlined by a rematch of the top 2 teams from last season, the Lexington Miners and the Nashville Tempo at 6:45, plus Marshall City and Pittsburgh, San Jose, Chicago, and Philadelphia and Albuquerque. See the Stars of tomorrow, Friday, November 8th on SFL YouTube. And all you can do if you're Baltimore's offense, just keep plugging away, keep trying to put up points.
G.P. Wells, other than those 2 kickoff returns, have yet to scratch the stat sheet. Just has not used him at all today.
I hope you picked the over tonight, by the way. 38-21, 3:40 to go in the 4th. Baltimore's quest for a 6th championship title will likely end here in Minnesota tonight. And the Legend will go on to the semis to face either Carolina or Mexico City. That game coming up next. Quick thoughts on that one, Eddie. There was a lot to say, Mike Daggs and Gerald on the pregame show about that one.
I think the Mexico City defense is going to be the stars of that game, but we shall see.
Quinn has time. That's a duck of a pass. Never got his fingers around it on the laces, and it's incomplete, 3rd and 10. And I think
also got jammed at the line of scrimmage.
Jonathan Quinn has probably taken this offense as far as he could. 2 touchdowns, 1 passing, 1 rushing, kept them in the game for a while. But without future Hall of Famer, 3-time All-Star Jack Wigmore in there, that's a great pass deflection on the outside. It's a wrestling match out of bounds after the play.
Well, Minnesota challenged that one because he looked like he was really close to still being in bounds. But I guess they were not.
Yeah, they got a 3 and out anyway. Well, they'll go for it on 4th and 10. Why not if you're Baltimore? Quinn against the 3-man rush. Picked off. This one could go to the house as well. Spin move back inside the 10, and out of the 6-yard line. 3rd interception of the night for Minnesota. All but seals it. Nicholas Frossel has one. Blaine has one. Leathers had a pick 6.
Ari Irvin saved another pick 6. No one open downfield at 3-2 umbrella defense. You know, a lot of coaches in the league don't like the 3-2 defense because you just don't get the consistent pressure on the quarterback unless you're blitzing. But Minnesota using that umbrella shell to thin out those passing lanes and capitalize off another turnover by Baltimore.
Minnesota scored 44 in their win over Baltimore in week 3. A touchdown here would give them more points than that here in the SFL quarterfinals, and Colin Hart just says, 1 play, touchdown. That's 3 one-play touchdown drives after Baltimore turnovers that Minnesota has had today.
I was just thinking the same thing, Mike. You beat me to it.
Baltimore's defense, again, as I mentioned, hasn't played bad, but their offense has done them no favors.
No favors, and neither has their special teams unit either.
We talk about the missed field goal, the first of the season for Shark Tarkington. In a game like this, it doesn't end up mattering that much. But then the kickoff return for a touchdown, 3 interceptions, including a pick 6.
Yeah. That pick 6, I mean, it's bad enough to recover from that, but then the kickoff return after coming back to tie the game after being down 14-0, that's hard to deal with.
Yeah, you're right. That was the very same kickoff after Baltimore had tied the game. And we thought it was going to be, 14-14 going into halftime. We got a barn burner on our hands, and really Minnesota hasn't looked back since then. They haven't trailed or been tied since then.
They have not, and now this defensive line is looking to peel their ears back.
Really the story of the night, Jack Wigmore getting hurt on a QB sneak. Jonathan Quinn having to come in at quarterback. I mean, he's not done a bad job. That's a great pass right over the middle, caught by David Anderson. But again, there are just a couple passes, a couple times maybe on third downs where Wigmore puts a better ball into the belly of a receiver that Quinn maybe kind of floats. Ivory Irvin's been great today. He's done all he can.
That was his 14th target of the game.
6 catches, 96 yards and a touchdown. Second leading receiver on this Baltimore team is Benji Matson. Just 2 catches, 36 yards and a touchdown. Had that 18-yard touchdown catch back in the first half. Quinn looking deep, incomplete, 3rd and 10. Right there to knock it away was Derek Meerkat.
Mac team has been bottled up today. 7 targets, only 1 catch.
Stephen Black has had himself a great game on the Minnesota defense. 9 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, and he forced the fumble that really put this game out of reach. It was still a 2-score game with about 5 minutes left. 3rd and short. Quinn tried to take it on a QB to get the first down. Black punched it out, and Minnesota's never looked back. Hasn't been the same game since. That was really only 4 in-game minutes ago. It feels like forever.
Yeah, since it feels like forever. You're right. Mounting a comeback, down 2 scores, driving downfield, and turn the ball over, and it was pretty much over from there.
Remember, before that, Baltimore got a touchdown and a 3 and out. The fumble really turned the momentum. And that's a turnover on downs for Baltimore. Minnesota takes it back. 2:42 left. Inside their own territory, Baltimore could give up more points here.
That ball could have been picked off too. And now, Colin Hard and Isaac Knox and their friends. Their offensive line, this is the favorite part of the game for the offensive line. You got a multiple possession lead, and this offensive line right now just gritting their teeth to get out there and put a hat on somebody.
Oh, look at Colin Hart go. Again, great blocking, and this worn down Baltimore defense just can't keep up with him.
Yeah, I mean, you got a tired defense, down multiple scores, nothing really to play for but pride, and they've been beat up on for 4 quarters. It's just inevitable at this point, unfortunately, for Baltimore.
Tomorrow we got 2 games to round out the quarterfinals. Charleston at Canton, Arizona at Florida. We know Canton really wants that title. They've been so close. They've been one of the most dominant teams in the league for the past couple of seasons. Does Charleston have a game against them, or is it just Canton marching through to the semis?
But Baltimore has nothing to hang their heads over. You know, they had a slow start to the season, fought back, got hot toward the end of the season, got themselves a home playoff win, putting up 50-plus points against Tulsa just last week. I mean, they aren't used to exiting the playoffs this early, but considering all they had to overcome this season with the way they started, they should be proud of themselves.
You know, T-Pat, TJ, and company, they'll always bounce back. T-Roy Gaines, part of that ownership group now.
Yeah. And in regards to Canton, I mean, yeah, they went undefeated in the regular season a year ago and lost to Florida in the championship game. Had to be demoralizing. And here they are again, #1 overall seed. They did lose a couple of games, but they finished the season strong, earned that #1 seed. And the playoffs, once again, will have to go through Canton.
Colin Hart, another first down. Baltimore just burning timeouts as we end the game, trying to keep their players on the field for a little bit longer before they go to a beach somewhere. They'll be back in 2025. And Baltimore, one of the best teams in the league at retaining their player core season after season. I'm sure most of these players, if not all of them, will be right back here trying to win that 6th ring next year. But for Minnesota, the quest continues. On to the semifinals. They will either host Carolina or travel to Mexico City, depending on what happens in the next game coming up in about 10 minutes. Up next after this one. Johnny Reno hasn't had that great of a game. 12 of 25, 199 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick.
They didn't need him today.
Yeah. They've had so much good field position because of the 4 turnovers forced by their defense. And 3 one-play scoring drives for the Minnesota offense.
But that's what Minnesota having 2 weeks off, having that first round bye does. I mean, talking to Axel, he spent the entire time between that last game played and this one preparing for this game. He was hoping to get what he saw out there in terms of Baltimore's plan of attack on offense. He got it, and he guessed right. And for him, he's going to walk away with a W. So shout out to Axel Raven with a magnificent coaching job here.
Colin Hart, as it stands, 7 to 9 yards on 22 carries, 2 touchdowns. Isaac Knox, 19 yards on 9 carries. Just 3.6 yards a carry for Colin Hart. Again, he hasn't had to do much more than that. T-Roy Gaines did all he could tonight. 17 carries, 80 yards, 4.7 yards a carry. Warren Murray, just 2 carries, 17 yards, 2 receptions, 21 yards. At 8.5 yards a carry and 10.5 yards a reception. GP Wells, apart from a couple of kickoff returns, didn't get a carry as a field goal is good from Melillo. Put the exclamation point on this one, 48-21.
Hard to imagine Baltimore scoring a 50-burger just last week and the very next week. This defense, like you said, is known to have been a dominant force in the league for the past several seasons. But to watch them give up 48, I mean, like you said, though, some of that could be put on the offensive shoulders for this squad. And some of it can be put on the special teams unit. They didn't do any favors either, so a lot of blame to go around. But I'm sure Baltimore will be back next season ready to go.
I mean, Baltimore averaged 34.3 points per game, only 21 tonight. Best in the league by a long margin.
Only team in the league to score 30-plus points a game.
They were held in check by a Minnesota defense that allowed just 16.3 points per game. We started this game talking all about the offenses and how it was going to be a shootout. And it was for a while.
Yeah.
Minnesota's defense forced the turnovers. +3 turnover differential on the season for Minnesota.
And a spike in here probably.
Yeah. And they made it count. Both of these teams really strong against the run, averaging less than 100 yards per game against, although both teams have over 100 rushing yards tonight.
T-Roy, a big part of that for Baltimore.
Oh yeah, 80 yards by himself. Although Colin Hart has 79. Quinn's going to launch this one with triple zeros on the clock. It's incomplete, and Minnesota is semi-final bound. They dominate the second half. 48-21 your final. Axel Raven and company will move on as they still look for their first SFL championship. And they've been dominant in their division for division championships. They just haven't got it done in the playoffs, Eddie, but could this be the year that the legend go all the way?
It could be. They've been playing fantastic football all season. You know, I've heard some talk about it on other servers about their schedule not being the toughest, but here they are under the bright lights playing the 5-time champions, and they proved to be just fine. I mean, but then again, having that extra week to prepare while Baltimore did not have that luxury. Could they play a part of it? Who knows? But shout out to Axel Raven regardless. He got the job done when he needed to be, and congratulations to Minnesota. They move on to next week.
Baltimore outgains Minnesota. I believe they also out time of possession to Minnesota. No, Minnesota got it by a minute, but time of possession was close. But again, just a couple of things broke Minnesota's way. The injury to Jack Wigmore that kept him out for a majority of the game, the entire second half. The touchdowns, the special teams blunders, the kickoff return for Minnesota, the missed field goal by Tarkington, and it all adds up to a game that was even still in it with about 5 minutes left, turning into a blowout.
Yep. Congratulations to Minnesota. They move on. Baltimore, I'm sure they'll regroup and get everything together and prepare for a fantastic season once again next year.
We've got one more game tonight coming up right after this. It's Carolina at Mexico City in the second semifinal. That will do it for here in the booth in Minnesota. For Justin Reside and Ron Haynes on stats, Cameron Irvine in the truck. Eddie Gage, my friend, it's been great calling one more game with you this season.
Yes. Arizona, I love y'all, man. Yo, we got a tough one against the 2-time defending champions tomorrow night. I am very nervous about it. I'm hoping I guess right on a few things, but we shall see. That's why they play the games, y'all. Thanks for coming. Good night, and drive home safely, y'all. We out of here. Peace.
My name is Michael Torello. Thank you so much to the SFL brass, to Chris Curtis and Mike Daggs, our broadcast directors, for allowing me and our entire broadcast crew to bring you SFL action all season long. Thank you so much. Enjoy Carolina and Mexico City, and we will see you next time.